I gave $5,000, but the thing was, it was my last $5,000. Like that was the big like, should I do this?
Yeah,
Right.
that's so
Big
scary.
risk.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but like I calculate, okay, we should close by then, blah, blah, blah. Should get some draws here. So I'll have something.
Like it should work.
Yeah.
Right.
But it didn't. What happened, I guess there was like, the house was in probate or something.
Oh.
So long story short, we couldn't close in June like I thought we would. We ended up extending escrow all the way. So when I thought I was going to get some money, I didn't. So I had to sell stocks. Thank God I invested.
Dude.
Sell stocks to pay for my mortgage.
Welcome to the Deals and Aloha Podcast, where we talk about real estate deals, hope to leave a lasting impact on our audience, and of course, spread aloha.
Let's go.
You can
Sweet.
find us on all social media platforms at Kamohai and Tristan. Please like, subscribe, and follow. Let's go.
Let's go. Today we have the one and only Jeremy freaking Mateo.
Jeremy.
What's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for having me
Dude,
on.
thanks for being here.
Super stoked.
So you've been investing as a, investor, fix and flip side for 1 year, but you've actually been a real estate agent broker for 7 years.
Yes.
So dude, tell us all about it.
All right. I guess we'll take it from
Yeah.
the very beginning.
Very beginning.
beginning.
How did you get into real estate?
So it's 2014. I got my license. The reason why I got my license is my mom. She's been an agent for I think since 2003.
Oh, nice.
And she really inspired me. And I guess the context behind that is, I guess coming out of college or coming out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like every Asian Filipino family, they're like, be a nurse or do something medical or something,
Yeah.
stable
Yeah.
and safe. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And then my dad's like, oh, you should join the military, but also become a dentist. That way you can have the military pay for it. And I was like,
You're like, oh,
maybe
yeah,
I'll join the
all
military
right.
later, but I can definitely be a dentist.
Dentist sounds all right.
And I like smiles.
Yeah, they make good money. Yeah.
So, right. So I was like, okay, cool. This makes a lot of money. Awesome. So I go to UC Irvine for my freshman year, bio major. And in high school, I was like a 4.0 GPA student, killing it. In college, definitely not that. I realized right away I hated bio. I hated chem.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what protons or neutrons
I
are.
cheated my way through chemistry.
All of school.
No.
I cheated my way to get by.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like getting C's, borderline D's. And then, so this is like 2012, 2013, freshman year of college. And unfortunately, my parents get divorced. It's kind of ugly.
Sorry.
Financially, like it was real bad in all aspects. So parents divorce. Mom moves back to Hawaii. I decide to move back too because, we're in a rough financial spot. And I figured like, hey, if I go to UH, cheaper tuition because I'm a Hawaii resident.
Yeah.
So we do that. So it's my mom, me, my sister, my brother, and again, like financial struggles. So we move in with my cousin at the time, and we're living in her living room, and like just like 2 mattresses, whatever. And it like I'm like, oh my gosh, like this sucks.
Yeah.
And like I read in a book somewhere that everyone has this FTM. It's the F this moment. I think that was one of my first like F this moment.
Wow.
Which later, transcends into like me working hard, and
Yeah.
I never want to
Right.
feel like that ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're there, and my mom, she has her real estate license, so she gets started working hard, and like right away, I think like within the first month, she gets enough money to move us into a lease, and then like she sells more houses, and then like she makes enough money to break that lease to move into a rental property she owns.
Wow.
Because the tenant's lease was done, and that right there was probably like the first light bulb that like went off in my mind. Like,
Click.
whoa, like real estate, you can make a lot of money really fast, and owning real estate could be like a great safety net because we moved into something she already owned.
She already owned, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm like sophomore year in college, and I'm like asking my mom, like, yo, what is this real estate
Yeah.
thing?
What are you doing?
And she was like really encouraging. She's like, yeah, you should do it. You can make a lot of money. And in my mind, I'm like, well, my mom is like typical, fob Filipino mom, like not aggressive, not salesy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I could be, salesy. Like I just watched Wolf of Wall Street, so I was like, I could sell houses. So I try to get my license, and in college, I'm like your typical frat boy, partying every night. So I treated the real estate exam like a college final where I just cram everything the night before.
24 hours of studying.
Yes.
Boom.
And then because of that, I had to take the real estate exam 5 times.
Nice.
Yeah.
5th time's a charm.
Yeah. And like I realized like, wow, like I really need to understand this stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So finally, I passed 5th time. Awesome. Like I conquered this huge mountain.
Yeah.
Which in the grand scheme of things wasn't really anything. That's the first hurdle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm licensed. Cool. I've been watching a lot of $1 million real estate. I'm going to make 6 figures my first year and drop out of college because I hated college.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
Neither of those happened. I realized real estate is super hard as an agent, especially when you're 19. No one's going to trust a 19-year-old.
Yeah, you're just some young kid.
Some frat boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I stayed in college and tried to learn what I could, helped my mom during the summers. And what I realized was that she's like property management, not really sales.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, like, what is this like tenant stuff? Like, I thought like we sell houses and like walk in mansions.
Yeah.
And,
Make the
big
big
commissions.
money.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so
This isn't like $1 million listing.
this is not. I remember my first open house. I put on like a full suit, all that, and it's in Makakilo, and like there's no AC, and I'm just dripping in sweat.
I need a picture of this.
Yeah.
I think I could find like my old headshot.
Yeah.
I had like a faux hawk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys. But
Yes.
it was just
Classic.
like it's just my perception of what real estate was versus reality, expectation versus reality.
Right.
So I stay in college. 2017 comes around. I graduate finally, and I'm talking to my mom's like, I really want to be successful in real estate, but I don't know what I'm doing. And she suggests maybe you should go like join a big company where they offer training.
Yeah.
And I was trying to like, oh, do I want to do that? And I started liking that idea.
Yeah.
And, I'll be the first to say like, I do have like a lot of pride and ego, especially when I was young. And I was like, I would hate if someone says like, Jeremy, you're only successful because of your mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, so.
We get that
All the time.
You guys.
wholeheartedly.
Side story with my dad.
Yeah.
So you guys understand. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to make it on my own, right?
Right.
So that was like my mentality. So I joined Locations Hawaii.
Okay.
They offer great training. This is like summer of 2017. I'm like, cool, awesome. Like I'm learning, I'm getting confidence. I understand the market. Awesome. Like now I'm ready to make 6 figures.
Yeah.
And,
Now I'm going to smash it.
be who I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Like that success story right after college. That didn't happen either. I sell 0 homes, and I'm just like, I'm really competitive, and I'm like, I'm going to make this work. Like, let's do this. All right, 2018, my first full year. Now I'm ready to be the star. Like, now I'm ready for $1 million listing Hawaii.
Right.
I only sell 3 houses. And I'm just like, I'm just beating myself up. Like, I only made like $20,000. And I'm just like looking at all my friends who like graduated college with me. They're like engineers, nurses, like they're in their careers and they're super successful and making a lot of money. And, it was never like jealousy. It was just like comparing my life to their life. Like, here they are, super successful. I'm happy for you guys. But man, like my story kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm supposed to be at that level.
yeah, I'm supposed to, like that word supposed to, it's
Right.
like there's not supposed to be anything. Like your path is your path. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's journey.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, 2018, like whatever. At the end of 2018, my real estate coach at the time tells me to read a book called The 12-Week Year. And it talks about like breaking down your goals, in quarter by quarter, essentially 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, let me like break this down, start working harder. They said you should work like 3 open houses a month. So 3 Sundays. And they said, don't work the 4th Sunday because you do want to get burnt out. I said, screw that. I'm going to do Saturday, Sunday open house every freaking weekend.
Yeah.
I was ready to take it by storm.
Right.
But what I realized was that none of that was working for me. And I was like, oh, so I took a step back. I realized, okay, 2018, 3 sales, where did it come from? I had to like analyze,
You had to track your KPIs.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was at that
Yeah,
time. I was
yeah.
like, where did this come from? It was from my Instagram. So what I realized was like, okay, I need to go more on Instagram. But if we backtrack, so like, as I was saying earlier, like when I was in college, I was a frat boy DJ. Like, so I'm posting everything on Instagram a frat boy DJ would post.
Right,
If you
right,
catch
right,
my
right.
drift.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Dirty Germs.
Yes, dirty. Yeah, my DJ
Dirty
name
Germs.
at the time was Dirty Germs. If you guys didn't know. But so I'm thinking, okay, I'm super insecure. I don't want the professional world to see this Dirty Germs guy. So
yeah.
I made a professional Instagram, and I was just posting on that. But as like time goes on, I'm realizing, okay, nobody cares about this professional Instagram.
They're like boring.
Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
care about who Jeremy is, the real Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once I realized that, I started like focusing more on my personal Instagram, just being like authentic to who I am,
Right.
Right.
but also talking about real estate because
Yeah.
that's also part of who I am.
Right.
And then 2018, that was like my big breakout year as an agent. I ended up selling, I think, like 17 homes.
Wow.
And I hit 6 figures for the first time.
Awesome.
And that's when I was like, oh my God, like this can really work. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but it wasn't always, you know, it wasn't a straight like trajectory like that.
Yeah.
Like there were times where I wanted to give up. Like
Totally.
if we like kind of go back to 2018, I got so depressed because I wasn't fulfilling my, you know, destiny.
Right.
What you're supposed to
Supposed
do,
to be
right?
doing.
And I almost gave up real estate.
Yeah.
I got my life and health insurance license
Oh.
trying to be a real estate agent.
We did that too.
Yeah,
No way.
similar
Oh,
story
yeah.
here. Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. Like,
I know.
I guess it's a common thing, right?
Totally.
So I get my life and health insurance license, and you know I sell one policy, and I hated it. The reason is because like I don't know, maybe it was that company, but their training was like, all right, you're gonna go into people's houses, you're gonna scare them about death. Like, hey, come on, Tristan, you could walk out your house and get hit by a bus
You're gonna die.
and die.
What What are your kids
And
gonna
right, it's
do?
like you don't like who's gonna cover the funeral expenses. You don't
yeah.
want that burden on your family, right?
Right.
Right.
So buy this policy.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is super important to have life insurance,
Yes.
but
But
like
I don't know about
it's-
selling that way.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I could do that for the rest
Yes.
of my life.
there has
Just
to be
doom
another
and
way.
gloom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I sold that policy, I realized like, okay, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate this. Like with real estate, you know, you're taking people to homes. Everyone's excited. Like, wow, look at this. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And like you get the excitement of like buying your first home.
Right.
So that's when I realized, all right, I need to just, you know, screw life insurance as it being an agent. I'm going to go all in with real estate. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm just going to keep my head low and just grind it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if it takes 5 years, screw it. Like, I'm going to stick to this. I'm going
Yeah.
to make it work. And then, yeah, so 2019, that's when I hit 6 figures and I got super excited. But at this time, like, I still nowhere on my radar am I thinking about being a real estate investor.
Investor.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I think around 2018, like midway through, that's when I meet another investor you guys know, Stacy. And like, she was like trying to assemble her team. You
Yeah.
know, as you know, if you're a new investor, you always want to assemble your team, find your realtor. And I guess she was reaching out to me to be her realtor. She was
Yeah.
like, hey, I know you grind hard. I want you to work for me. Unfortunately, that never happened because I got busy with, you know,
All the retail stuff.
Yeah, retail
Yeah.
stuff.
You're like, this is making me money.
Yeah,
right now.
you know, I don't want to write 50 offers for
Yeah.
you.
Right.
We're high maintenance. Investors
we're
are high
very high
maintenance.
maintenance.
Yes.
Yeah, and we take up a lot of time.
Yes. So that's when she like, you know, it was no hard feeling, like she understood
Yeah,
it. So
yeah.
it was cool. And I also meet another real estate investor, Zasha, you guys know.
Yep.
And
my
she was
homegirl.
Yes. Shout out Zasha.
Pause. The first two investors you met, women.
Ooh.
Boop, boop.
Boom.
Yeah.
Love that. Women investor. All right. So yeah, they're the ones that, you know, the first investors that I meet, and they're talking about like flipping homes. And each time like I'm talking with them, I'm like, what the heck is flipping houses?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And how the hell are you doing
that's
this?
crazy. Like, how are you getting the money? You know.
Yeah.
So at that time, it was just my mindset was agent, and I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs
Yeah.
from what I understood. So it's just like at the time, like I didn't understand flipping, I didn't understand investing, so I kind of like shrugged it off.
Yeah.
So that happens. Then 2020 comes around, and as you guys know, interest rates all-time low.
Yep.
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And like even more so, like I tripled my production from 2019 to 2020. And I was like, yeah, I even got my broker's license. Like my mind was, I'm going to open up my own brokerage, start my own company. But at the end of 2020, I realized like, man, like I sold like 24 homes and I was like, yeah, that was awesome, but oh my gosh, I'm kind of burnt out. you
Yeah.
know?
It's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. Like as an agent, people say like you're your own boss and all that. But really, if you think about it, when I started like really doing some self-awareness, it was like, okay, no, you're not your own boss. All your clients
Or your bosses.
Your boss.
You just have a ton of bosses.
Yes.
And like majority of them, they're super cool. Like I found my niche, which was, first time home buyers, millennials, my peers.
Yeah.
They're super cool.
Yeah.
Like we could go to like open house on Saturday or Sunday and we're both hungover,
Yeah.
But there were a select few, like maybe like 2 or 3 that like clients just suck the soul out of me. I'm just
Ew.
like, when you deal
Life
with
suckers.
when you deal with challenging people, it's just like
Yeah.
kind of ruins everything.
It gets
Totally.
hard.
So I'm experiencing that. And during 2020, that's when I started my YouTube channel. When we were locked down, I needed to find a new way to get in front of people's faces,
Right.
Yeah.
market myself. So I just started making YouTube videos about, educating people about real estate. And I think real estate was an essential
Oh,
It
yeah,
was an
it
essential
was.
business.
So
'cause
we were-
It was.
Yep, totally.
So we were able to leave. So I'm
Yeah.
like doing showings, filming, putting
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. And it was like really gaining traction. But as a YouTuber, I was trying to, I always like to observe the greats, observe successful people, see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then surely enough, I stumbled upon real estate investing and people talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized like, yo, these are normal people, like
Yeah.
every day, like you and me. And
Yeah.
what I thought about real estate investors was like you needed to be rich and like there's just like old people with like old money.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa, okay, like I think I'm starting to see it now. And then also I see this guy named Ryan Pineda, and I see his videos. I'm like, wow, this guy's like flipping hundreds of homes,
And
a
he's
year.
young, too.
And he's young,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. And then like I'm keeping in touch with Zasha,
Mm-hmm.
Stacey. I see them join his coaching program,
Yeah.
and I'm like, like okay, like I'm starting to see it now,
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And then at the end of 2020, I remember Stacey. She invites me to a booze cruise. And she's like, yo, this guy, Alex Camacho, is a big time
Oh,
flipper.
Alex,
You guys know
Alex.
Alex.
We know Alex. Yes, we do.
Alex.
Shout out Alex.
We'll have you on the podcast, bro.
Yes.
Have him on. Come on.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, he's a really big time investor. You got to meet him. I'm like, all right, cool. So we go to the, the booze cruise. And at this time, like, I have an idea about investing, but I'm like, I don't know if I should, but I'd like to. I
Right.
just don't have the money.
Right.
Or so I thought,
Right.
So I tell Alex, yeah, dude, like I've been thinking about doing it, but not in Hawaii. It's so expensive. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, because like I don't have the money. Like I'll just go to Vegas or maybe the East Coast because I can afford to flip those
Cheap.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what he said next, like this advice I tell everyone. So like he said, well, why don't you do Hawaii? I'm like, it's expensive. And he said, dude, don't worry about finding the money. Worry about finding a really good deal. If you find the deal, the money will come.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my
Mind
gosh.
shift.
Yes,
Explosion.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, find the deal. And sure enough, and I was like, well, when I was talking to him, he was like, well, when you've been an agent, I'm like, yeah, I've been an agent for a while. Have you? I'm sure you've seen a couple of deals. Like,
Yeah.
has there been any deals or any homes on the market that's like super cheap, and you think, hey, I would buy this if I had the money.
Such a good question
Right?
to ask
Right.
yourself. Yeah.
And when he asked me that, I'm like, yeah, actually, I've seen like quite a number of those.
Yeah.
He's like, well, there you go. You know what's a good deal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let me start looking for a deal.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, like once he said that, I started like talking to more people, start looking at more YouTube videos, and I find out what's hard money. I learned about that, and
Yeah.
I find out about Kiko Capital.
Like these are how people are buying these houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't need to be rich.
Yes, and I'm like, whoa. And then find Kiko Capital, talk to them. They're like, yeah, we'll fund it as long as it's a good deal. Cool. So I start looking for deals, and
Yeah.
then the way I did it was I didn't do door knocking, all that. I did exactly what I did that made me a successful agent. I just
Right.
took those strategies and applied it into being an investor, which was using social media.
You just change the
Nice.
narrative a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I did was I just posted on my story, hey, does anyone know about any rundown houses or anyone that wants to sell their house that's like in bad shape? Let me know. And then sure enough, one chick, she messaged me. She's not even following me. She says, hey, one of my friends told me about your Instagram story. My aunt has a home that she wants to get rid of. And I'm like, okay, cool, perfect.
Yeah.
So I go check it out. and it was beautiful. Well, it wasn't beautiful. It was,
Right.
It was
actually
right,
a piece
beautiful
of shit.
deal. The
Beautiful
deal was
deal.
beautiful.
Beautiful deal.
Bus up house.
For
Bus up house.
investors, it's beautiful.
Right.
So I was like, oh my gosh, this could be it. So, actually, funny story is when I first checked out the deal, I got to the house early. I was waiting for the agent, and I'm just there in front of the house looking at it like that. Like, this is cool. And then some guy comes up behind me, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, just checking out the house. And he's like, oh, how come? And I'm like, this is me like just being like, not aggressive, but like, I'm always like, I will do this. I will do it. I was like, I'm going to buy this house.
Manifestation.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, oh yeah, you are? It's like, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, how'd you hear about it? I'm like, word of mouth. And he's like, oh, little did I know, I talked to the real estate agent when he finally came. I was like, oh, who's that guy? He's like, oh, that's the neighbor. He's trying to buy this house. I'm like, oh no. I just told him I'm going to buy it. And what's worse is that he told me, so the story is the neighbors across the street are in escrow, and they've been in escrow for like,
Oh, they were legit going to buy the house.
Yeah, they were already in escrow. That's crazy.
yeah, I'm Mr. Steal Your House, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, like I felt
Steal your house.
I felt so bad. Like
Yeah.
he's apparently the story was the neighbors were in escrow for like 8 months,
Oh,
and
wow.
they couldn't buy it because they kept getting denied on the loans because
Oh, they were trying to go conventional.
yes, with conventional loans, like for those that don't know, is that if it's unlivable, and this house was definitely unlivable,
Right.
like there's holes in the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's not bank financeable.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't finance it
Yeah.
through the conventional way.
Right.
Right.
So I'm like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
But,
I wish.
Yeah.
But that's
But
like.
good for me.
yeah.
Yeah. It was good for you, but like
Yeah.
you imagine if more people like understood.
Yeah.
You think that's just a lack of education?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Definitely.
And
So like
understanding.
a normal buyer couldn't buy this.
Yeah,
you know?
right,
An
right.
investor has to buy this. you
Right.
know?
That's a good point. I feel like a lot of people, and we can control that narrative as investors.
Yes.
Sorry, going on a little tangent
No,
right
go
now.
for it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people think that we're stealing homes from people.
No.
You
Even
know
though
what I
I
mean?
just said Mr. Steal Your House.
He didn't
We were
mean it
joking.
literally.
Yeah. Yes.
But like the homes that we're purchasing, 99.9% of the time are not conventionally
Yeah.
bank financeable. They
Right.
Exactly.
not a normal buyer, first time home buyer, whatever.
Yeah.
They can't buy it.
Yeah.
We're buying distressed properties that
Yeah.
like literally we need to pay for with hard money or cash.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and we're bringing it back onto the market.
Right.
Something that wasn't even livable, we're bringing
Exactly.
it back on. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you think a normal buyer, even if they found out about hard money, they're not going to get a hard money lender to buy a 10% interest?
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
Yeah.
never,
Yeah.
never. Yeah. So
It's a product created just for investors
Yeah.
for short term purpose to bring something back into inventory.
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we're there, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, all right, I want to buy it. And he's like, well, the sellers are still in escrow with the neighbor. If they get denied on the conventional loan again, then we'll go with you. And I'm like, all right, cool. And funny thing was, I was like, oh, just out of curiosity, like, what are the neighbors in escrow for? And he was a new agent, and he was like, oh, they're in escrow for $540, but if we go to you, we're gonna up the price to $580 because the market has changed.
And you're like,
I'm like, no,
Oh, you
like,
shouldn't have told me that.
yeah, like if he's ever watching this, I'm so sorry, but you know, I just had a feeling it was a new agent, so you know, I just figured I'd ask, and he answered.
that another side.
Uh-oh, tangents.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
I'm shout out to Carlos Reyes and Sal Shakir because they're doing All In Nation. They're
All in
doing
Freedom.
All In Freedom
Right now.
nice.
event right
Okay,
now.
okay.
And we were gonna go, but I got COVID and all that stuff. But I was listening on Zoom this morning, and Chris Crone, he was talking about the quality of your life is based off of the quality of questions you
you
ask.
Oh, that's huge.
So like you
Yeah.
asking that question totally made that deal possible.
Yeah,
And if you
exactly.
didn't ask that question, you know what I mean? So like it just reminded me of that. Yeah.
I mean, he could have not said, but
you know what I mean? So like
He probably shouldn't have
he
said.
shouldn't have, but
Yeah,
he didn't know that.
but you never know.
You just never know.
Yeah, you
and
never
so
know.
like
Yeah.
ask better questions.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So he told me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stick to 540." But I was like, "Okay, we'll see." And 2 weeks goes by, and he's like, "Yo, Jeremy, like they got denied again. We'll go with you. How's 580?" I'm like, "No, you told me 540.
540.
Yeah.
so I'm gonna
Yeah,
stick to 540." So I'm trying to think, okay, like what is a win-win situation?
Right.
That's one thing I always heard from like real estate investing
Yes.
YouTube videos was
Yes.
try to make it a win-win.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let's do 540. and you don't have to pay me a commission, which because I'm an agent, so I felt like that was like a good power move.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we'll do that, but you have to do $10,000 EMD and another $10,000 additional.
$20K.
Right.
And I was like, okay, all right. So
You're like, is this good? Is this not good?
Yeah. I remember being there, like writing the offer. Okay, 540. I was like, I have no idea how I'm gonna get this money. And
Right.
I just remember Alex's voice in my head, like, worry about finding the good deal, which it was a good deal, and the money will come.
Yeah.
So I get it under contract, gave my 10K. I'm like, oh shoot, okay. So then I give it to Kiko, and they're like, yeah, Jeremy,
Yeah.
cool. We could fund your deal. Awesome. You just need to come up with 25% down. I was like, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
Great.
like,
Where am I going to get that?
And I'm in like a 45-day escrow or whatever. I'm like, I have 45 days to
Yep.
pull out $160,000 out of my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of thin air.
Yeah. And at this time, I don't know what private money is. So I'm like, all right, who could I ask? So I hit up my longtime best friend, Froylan. Me and him go way back to high school. Like, we're each other's best man. Or I was his best man at his wedding.
Love it.
Nice.
And vice versa whenever I get married.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
No pressure, I'm sure.
My girlfriend's watching this. But I'm like, yo, dude, like, you want to flip a house for me with me? And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude, let's
Yeah.
do it. Like, it's just so funny. Like, we're just so naive.
Yeah,
and,
like not
Yeah.
even thinking about it
Yeah.
thoroughly. Yeah.
and then I remember, at first, like, I didn't think it would be 25% down, but the situation was we needed 120.
Okay.
And then it was just me and him that's going to split that. And then I got a call. It's like, oh, actually, you need 160,000. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
we don't have
We
that.
Yeah.
don't have
Okay.
160,000.
So,
Where am
like,
I going to get that?
Yeah. So again, I'm like, okay, who could I ask to do this partnership with us? And I asked my financial advisor, Alex Fowler. He's also a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
We do like networking events like that for like other millennials to meet each other.
That's so cool.
And so he's entrepreneurial as hell. And I'm like, yo, dude, you want to flip a house with us? And then same thing. He was like, yeah, let's do it.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
So like,
Yeah, that's cool.
we go on Zoom. I show them the numbers. I show them the comps, and like, they're like, yeah, man, let's do this.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the story of how I went from beginning agent, now investor.
wow.
Nice.
There's so much.
Yeah,
to,
a lot of
like,
layers to that
unpack.
story.
Okay. Back to like the very beginning.
Yes.
I just think that from, you talking about your parents and getting divorced and then your mom moving you guys back home and going from sleeping with, you stayed at your cousin's house and in a short amount of time being independent. It sounds like you're a super good role model and your mom
yeah.
is a strong independent woman
Oh,
and I
yeah.
love that. So you had like
Absolutely.
it was almost like that was your role model.
Yes.
She ingrained that in you.
Yeah.
So like shout out to your
Oh,
mom.
yeah. Thank you,
Mom,
mom.
shout out
Yeah.
to all the moms.
Yeah, all the moms.
All the moms.
This is slightly after Mother's Day, but happy Mother's
There
Day.
you go.
So like that I think definitely helped you get to where you are now.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you had to persevere through a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like there was a lot, like mentally, like even before I was an agent, like dealing with that situation. Remember I was like telling you guys about that FTM moment. Like,
Yeah.
I was
Totally.
Like, like that's kind of what made me want to want more in life, because I just
Yeah.
never wanted to feel like that again. And then when I became, even before I got my license, I had to like study and take it 5 times.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just like knew like, okay, I can't give up. I just got to keep going.
Like
you
it
know?
wasn't easy for
Yeah, it
you.
wasn't easy.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, I love the fact that your mom had given you that. You were able to see that, right? Like you saw your mom. You guys came back home to Hawaii, and fairly quickly through real estate,
Yeah.
she got you into the situation that you guys were into. So you knew that it was possible.
Yeah.
But then you tried it yourself, and you.
And you're like, what the F,
Dude,
Mom?
you struggled
Yeah.
for a long
Yeah.
time.
It's
Like, what was it in you that kept you going?
Why didn't you give up?
That is a good question. And I just think it was just, goes back to like that one, the FTM moment. Just like, I never want to feel like this. I want to experience more. On top of that, my mom and also my dad, like, even though they divorced, my dad, like, was an awesome dad,
Yeah.
try to provide as much as he could for us. So it's just like, I want more in life for
Yeah.
not just me, but like my brother, my sister, and my parents. And like, I just see like, okay, if my mom can do it, I can do it,
Nice.
And yeah, just going in, like, this is not $1 million listing, I'm not
It's
selling
supposed to be
houses.
like this on TV.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I just knew, like, I just had to keep going, and just, like, I don't know, like, what specifically, but it was just, when you just want to do something, like, this is it, like, my why. Like, I don't think at that time I knew they were my why, but I just wanted more.
Right.
But it was for them.
Yeah. I can relate in a lot of ways. Just like I feel like for me, I always pushed through. Like if I know that I want to do something, like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yes.
And I feel like it's because of things that we went through when we were young. I mean, divorce is traumatic. You know what I mean? And like uprooting, but like it only makes you stronger, and it kind of gives you that strength to just go. You know? Yeah. So I can relate in a lot of ways.
We're both that way. And I mean, even when we were getting started in real estate, we got a lot of backlash. Like there were some people that were like, yes, do it. Like there were very helpful people, but there was some specific people that were like, no,
Doubters.
You are not going to be successful. You cannot do it. And I always tell people, I'm like, Tristan and I, that helped us.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
because then you literally have that chip on your shoulder and you're like, I am that kind of a person that's going to get it done no matter what.
Actually, thank you for adding fuel to my fire.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to do it even more.
Like I'm putting in this much effort, but because you said I couldn't do it, I'm going to work so much harder.
That much harder.
Like with me, like when I was young, like 19-year-old, like I didn't know what I was doing. Like, cool. Yeah. I get it. And people saw me as like, okay, you're just some kid. Like you can't. And I felt that from a lot of people.
Yes.
And I will say, yes, I didn't know what I was doing, but that kind of motivated me. Like you said, like the chip on the shoulder,
right?
That just like fueled the fire. It's like, I'm going to do it, like for me and to show you that I can.
Yeah. No, I can relate again, because when I was first starting out, not in real estate, but in the behavioral health field, and I graduated college, and me and my friend, I ended up working with my dad, and then I went out on my own because my dad wanted to retire. And I was just like, I'm this 23-year-old, I'm running a nonprofit, do all this stuff, and give me contracts and work with me, and I'm trying to establish relationships. And I'm sorry, but majority of industries, it's male dominated, and they're older. So it's like, who is this young girl saying that she can do stuff, you know? And it's like,
who are you?
Who are you?
I'm not going to listen to a kid.
And it's really hard. And I feel like a lot of us young people, I'm 31. I'm going to be 32 next week. My birthday's coming up.
Yeah, you're still young. Babe.
I know.
Still young.
I'm young. But it's hard. I feel like we have more challenges. We have more to prove. But I feel like that's also our strength.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like we can bring a fresh new perspective to an industry, and we're not stuck in our ways. And we're hungry.
Yeah.
We have a fire in us, you know? Like we just will do whatever it takes.
It's turning your I like what you said about like it's your weakness, but you turn it into like you flip it like as a strength. And I totally see that, because I think in those struggling years I was always thinking like, oh, like I'm young, like this is my weakness, I just gotta wait till I'm older. But I don't know when it was, but at one point there was a switch in my mind that I was like, you know what, my age, my youth is not a weakness, it's a strength.
Right.
And I remember writing this on my LinkedIn bio
I
or
love
something.
it.
I was like the reason why you should use me is because like I'm a young, hungry real estate agent, and even though I don't have the length and experience, I have all the time, I have all the energy to devote my attention to you.
Just to you.
I'm young, I don't have a family, I don't have kids, I'm not married. Like this young kid is gonna devote everything to you, and other agents might not have the time or energy.
Right.
So once I had that mindset, I was like, whoa, like I'm a young kid.
I'm
Like,
a fucking
I'm
badass.
ready to go.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
embraced it.
Yeah.
And after that just gave me confidence.
Yeah.
Totally.
And right there, it's like, it's just a mindset shift, and that's when things started to pick up.
No, totally. I agree. Once you in your mind use that to your advantage and embrace that you're a young, hungry person, it has a way of just making things move forward.
Yes. Yeah.
So I encourage any young people to use it to your benefit, or figure out mentally how you can have that shift so that you can literally use it to your advantage to get business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note just that not even only about age, right? It's really the perspective and the mindset shift that you had that propelled you to the next level, and that can be about anything.
Or just being like new to an industry.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, because I'm still old. I'm old.
You're
I had that
not
mindset
old.
shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like you're not old, you're wise.
Yeah, there you go. See? Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Got you.
I keep you young.
Yes.
Geez, you sound like a cradle robber right now. We're not-
Don't say that.
It's funny. Okay, so that was your first deal. You bought it with your friends.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. And then you said private money.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy how, like, a lot of people get scared from private money.
Totally, 100%. Yeah.
And you literally just picked up your phone
Yeah.
and had a conversation with friends.
It's literally another limiting belief, I think.
Yeah.
And people think that the private money lenders have to be these rich,
Old.
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
have a ton of money in their bank account.
And why would they lend money to
yeah,
me?
yeah.
Right. But in actuality, the best place to find, I feel like, people is literally picking up your phone
Yeah.
and asking.
And
Your
having that
sphere.
Your sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you never know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, you
our
never know.
our first deal, I remember what our first private money lenders were. My best friend, who was also my business partner in
There
my
you go.
nonprofit.
Yeah.
She just had some money sitting, and my brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That guy right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy right there behind the camera. Whoop. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
you just like similar to what you did. You're like, here's my spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Here's all my
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Like,
Check it out.
yeah.
You want to flip a house with
But
me?
you're like, but you're like so excited,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And
Guys.
I still remember
like,
that day.
like salivating, like, come on, like we have to do this deal. Yeah, and it's just crazy how people can overthink it. But
Yeah.
a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
times
yeah.
you just pick up your phone and
Literally.
you have those conversations,
Yeah.
and you never know.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So true.
So your first flip went super chill, easy.
It was a good one.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, like the rehab went good. We used Froyland's uncle. He was
Oh,
a
nice.
GC. The way we chose it too is like when we're getting bids, we got like 100K bid, 90K bid. I was like, oh my god! And we went with his uncle, and he was like, hey guys, like I can do it for 70K. But I only can work the weekends. So working the weekends, just the weekends, would extend the project another month.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, let me do the math. Like carrying costs for another month was probably another $4,000. So we could spend $4,000 to save $30,000.
Made perfect sense.
Boom.
No brainer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's why we chose him, and he was good. We trusted him. Very flexible with the draws and all that.
Nice.
I think the only hiccup was like we ordered the appliances at the end, and it came late, so that extended everything like 2 weeks. But
Minor.
Right.
for the most part, yeah, like we got multiple offers, listed it for $765, got in escrow like at $810.
Nice.
And then there was like, I guess they wanted something repaired with the roof, so we gave a credit, and then we
Nice.
closed at $795.
Nice.
Win.
Boom. So
Yeah.
So yeah, you did a lot better than we did on our first deal.
We got cracks.
A little bit cracks. Everybody knows that story already, though.
Yeah, I mean, we went to market right when COVID shut down Hawaii.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
was
like
not fun.
sat on the market for months
Yeah.
and like did price reductions and we didn't fire a contractor then, but dude,
All the
it
bad
was
stuff.
rough.
But a learning experience, right?
Yeah, totally. Big time.
No, we got a master's degree in flipping on our first one, so our experiences were really different,
Boom.
but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
because
yeah.
lessons,
Yeah.
all lessons for
Right.
sure. Okay, so then you bought another flip during your first flip,
Yeah, you-
right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that was a crazy story too. So we're doing the first flip. We're still in the middle of it, and again, like all my money is in that flip. Then this second deal comes on my lap, and I'm like, whoa, this is a really good deal. Like,
Yeah.
the rehab was like $6,000. You just repaint, buy a new fridge.
It was
and-
like a wholesale.
yeah, basically. And I was like, whoa, like cool. Let's do it. But the what's it called? The wholesaler, he wanted a 5K EMD, and I'm like, okay, I think I can do it. Like, but all my money is tied up.
Yeah.
In
So,
the other flip,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like I have like little reserves left, and I like calculated it. I was like, okay, if I do this, we close next month, blah blah blah. I should sell it and then get money, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
The reserves will be good enough. And I'm like, okay, cool. I also find out about private money.
Right,
So
right.
That's when I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I got hard money, got private money. I'm like, all right, I think I can do this. Cool. So I gave $5,000, but the thing was, it was my last $5,000. Like that was the big like, should I do this?
Yeah.
Right.
That's so
Big
scary.
risk.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but like I calculate, okay, we should close by then. Blah blah blah. Should get some draws here, so I'll have something.
Like it should work.
Yeah.
Right.
But it didn't. What happened was, I guess there was like the house was in probate or something.
Oh.
So long story short, we couldn't close in June like I thought we would. We ended up extending escrow all the way. So when I thought I was going to get some money, I didn't. So I had to sell stocks. Thank God I invested.
Dude.
Sell stocks to pay for my mortgage.
Right.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I really doing the right
Talk
thing?
about
Yeah.
taking a risk
No, yeah.
to like
Yeah.
make your dreams happen.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I was like, because like I was gonna just finish this first flip, get it done, then start. But
Yeah.
it was such a good deal. I knew it was a good deal.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so we close on the first flip, awesome, cool, and then we sell, or then we finally can buy the second one. And it was super awesome. Like only took 2 weeks to fix.
Nice.
Put on the market for, I bought it at 810. Put on the market for 970, and we closed at 996,500.
Nice.
Dude, nice.
And that was my first like 6-figure
Payday.
profit. Yeah.
On your
Right.
own.
Yeah, and I listed it,
Oh,
so I got
right,
an
right,
extra
right.
20 grand. And
Yeah.
right then I was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
I discovered like
Yeah.
the secret sauce."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic
Yeah. Whoa,
happened.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when I was like, "I'm gonna be an investor."
Yeah. So do you still sell like retail?
Yeah, time to time. Like I
Okay.
still have my license. What I do is whenever I get leads, because they're always coming from like Instagram,
Right.
YouTube,
Right.
social media.
Yeah.
I make the intro, talk to them, understand what they're looking for, what they
Mm-hmm.
need. Then I created a real estate team with like 2 of my other best friends,
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Vince and Jay. Shout out if you guys are watching this. Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Shout
Yeah.
out.
I give it to one of them, like if it fits their vibe or their area, and then we go from there. And then they're able to delegate all or take all of that responsibility and
Off your plate.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just delegate it to them, and then that's basically how I structure everything.
Wow.
Nice.
And so at the same time, they're getting experience, they're learning the ropes, and at the same time, they're helping me. So like
Yeah.
again, a win-win
Win-win.
situation.
Nice.
I will do like some sales maybe for like close friends or family. For the most part, it's just focusing on investing.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Love that.
So now tell us about the last deal that you've done.
The
yeah.
Waikai.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Waikai.
Yeah.
Ooh. So this was like probably like this flip. I was like the one that like knights me. Like you're an investor. I was like, oh. So I remember like starting last year, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do these flips. You know, the easy like low price ones. Nowhere ever did I ever think like, oh, I'd be buying a $1.3 million home.
Scary, right?
I thought maybe
Yeah.
like
I know.
5 years from now.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, if it's a good deal,
Yeah. It's just another zero.
exactly.
Just numbers.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a real estate agent brings it to me. It's in Waikai on the water. He's like, you could buy it for 1.3, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And I'm looking at the comps, and like it looks like ARV's 2 million, and I'm like, no way.
Like, is
Like,
this for real?
like,
Is this
is
really a
real?
good deal? Yeah.
I even took it to Corey at Kiko. Shout out Kiko. Been funding all my deals.
Right.
Shout out Kiko.
Shout out Keiko.
And I'm like, yo, like, is this right? And they're like, dude, yeah, this is a deal. And I'm
Wow.
like, lock it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I got to do this.
So again, I'm writing that offer for 1.3 million, and I have no idea how I'm gonna get this money.
Yeah.
And then at first I try to lowball them, like, oh, 1.2, you don't have to pay me the commission.
Yeah.
But they're like, no,
No.
1.3. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And they're like, we'll do a regular sale. So I'm like, regular sale? So that means I get a commission. They're like, okay. So I find hard money, Kiko, private money. We buy it. And it was like, okay, awesome. And I get a commission. So I made $30,000
Nice.
from the buy. And I was
Nice.
like, yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like one of the reasons why I keep my license too, for those opportunities.
Yeah, I was
Right.
going to say, you have a lot of advantage
Yeah.
having a license
Yeah.
and being an investor.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you scared at all? Are there any barriers?
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that too. Like I
Oh,
talk to
okay.
other people, like there is some liability, you know,
Yeah.
when you're listing your own flips and if you have your license. But I feel like as long as your intentions are good,
Yeah.
disclose everything,
Right.
don't try to be shady. shady,
Right.
Yep.
you'll be fine. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not in the business to be shady.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
That's the number one thing I hear, because I ask that question a lot. Like, of the advantages and disadvantages of being a realtor investor.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I hear is you just have to disclose.
Like
You
overly
disclose,
disclose.
disclose.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm an agent. I'm listing this. This
Yeah.
is what happened. You know?
Right.
Right,
All
right,
the
right.
things. Yeah.
So that's going on, and I buy it. And while we're in escrow, you know, when I'm inspecting the place, doing the inspections, the seller's still there, and there's a bunch of big furniture, and they're kind of elderly, so I don't want to bug them too much.
hey,
I don't
can
want
you
to
move all this
stuff
stuff?
around.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And then when we close, literally the day we close, I go in the house. There's so much stuff that was behind those big furniture that's just deteriorated, broken, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
Dude.
On top of that, there was a big rainstorm that weekend, and like everywhere in the backside, everything's just leaking from the roof. And I'm
Oh,
like,
man. Yeah.
so that ended up increasing the rehab budget by $100,000.
Dang.
Dude.
It went
You
from-
like never know what you
Yeah.
buy until
Yeah.
you're in there.
and I
You
was
know?
like, it went from $300,000 to $400,000 rehab budget, but because I bought a good deal,
Yeah.
there's a
It
lot
could
of meat.
withstand
There's
Yeah.
a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah.
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 So
Nice.
so how did you account for that $100,000? Like, did you have to go back and raise more money, or what did you do?
So that's when I learned about, I guess, contingency funds. So thank goodness there's a contingency fund, and then I just had to raise like a little money for the extra stuff, but
Right.
we got it done.
yeah.
So that part is crazy, but what I'm about to tell you guys on this podcast is even more crazier.
Yeah.
I
Love
said it at the meetup, but
Right.
this is my first time saying it on YouTube
Oh,
too.
oh,
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So I actually found a buyer before I even bought it.
Dang.
Yeah.
No way.
So
Okay.
a couple from YouTube, found me on. A couple found me from YouTube.
Wow.
And they wanted to buy a house here in Hawaii. And I was showing them houses, but they weren't feeling it.
Yeah.
And I showed them this flip, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Jeremy! Like, we love this area. We love
Yeah.
it on the water. Let's work out a deal."
It is a great location.
Right?
It is
Yeah.
the great location.
And
yes.
without like talking about who they are, like just for privacy,
Right, right.
but
Yeah.
essentially they're crypto millionaires.
Okay.
Okay.
And all of their net worth is in crypto, or most of it. And as you guys know, crypto is tanking
It's
right
doing
now.
Yeah.
wonderful
in
right
real
now.
time right now. I'm
So-
feeling it.
With
Yeah.
the deal, it was like, hey, Jeremy, we'll wire you $130,000 as our deposit to show we're serious. We'll pay you $10,000 a month, just to keep it, and you just make it to what we like within your budget. Like we choose the finishes, all that, and then when you're done, we'll buy it, pay the rest off, 2.2 million.
Nice.
Right.
I was like, whoa, 2.2 million, all right.
Right. Sick.
But as we all know, as we said, crypto's tanking,
Yeah.
so they can't pay in full.
They probably don't have the liquidity right now to do
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
So they're just going to continue to pay me $10,000 a month.
Nice.
But the cool thing is because they live in Puerto Rico, that's where all the crypto millionaires moves to save money.
Dude, a
on
lot of
taxes.
real
No
estate
taxes.
millionaires live
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry
So-
Norton's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Logan Paul.
Yeah,
yeah.
tons.
Yeah, it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So they're like, Jeremy, we're gonna be here. Thank you for all your hard work. I know it's like a difficult time, but you can rent it out while
So
we're
they
gone.
didn't back out.
No,
They're just delaying.
Yeah, it's like seller financing.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
You got creative with it. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm getting 10 grand from them, and then my tenant, I've just found a tenant. They're renting it for 6,500.
Dang.
So I'm getting like 16,500.
In
Cash-
incoming rent.
Yes.
Right.
From that one property.
Yes.
So
And
cool.
After I refi, that should cover that mortgage and my primary.
Dude,
Right.
that's
So,
epic.
which is
Like
awesome.
I didn't get the big win, but like I got the next best thing.
Dude,
which-
it's still a
still a
huge
I don't know. I
win.
feel like that might be even better.
really okay.
Yeah,
wow.
because you get depreciation.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You
You
get
get-
depreciation. You have that asset
Yep.
for right now.
But
Yeah.
check it. So your net worth went up. You
Yeah.
get depreciation.
Oh, yeah, net worth.
Yeah. Oh. And if your burr goes how you want it to go,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're gonna get tax-free
Free.
money
Yes.
to keep the house.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right, right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like to
Bro,
see.
like that's
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, it's hard because in flipping, right?
yeah, you want that big
You
profit.
can get this huge profit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you can keep a house and get tax-free income.
Yeah.
Get the depreciation. Get
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
feel
you
like in the-
might have won a little bit
Yeah.
more, and then you're still gonna sell it later and
Yeah.
still get money. Like,
Right.
Boom.
dude,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Accidental burr right there.
There you go. In the evolution of a real estate investor, and we talk about this all the time, it's like at first we're just trying to create as much active income as possible.
Yeah, we're just flipping.
And we think that that's what the goal is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just
Like
make
these
money.
big checks, right, coming in. But in the end, as we evolve, we realize that holding on to the property is, you know, where all the wealth is built.
When tax time comes, that's when you realize,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because that one property could depreciate a lot of the active income that you made from your previous flips, you know? So that's kudos to you.
Yeah, blessing in disguise. Right?
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
I know we were talking about this at the meetup, but it really tells the true tale of a real estate investor to this deal, right? Like you went in, you had a plan for it, stuff happened, plans
100,000
changed.
over budget.
Yeah, you had to learn how to be flexible and pivot and figure out another solution
Buyer
fly.
pulled out.
on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the process. So that's props to you for sure.
Am I knighted now? Am I knighted?
You're so knighted. You're so knighted. Yeah, no, for real. I feel like the name of the game is always pivoting and not always having like hindsight's always 2020. But like if you just have the blinders on of like, no, I need to flip this, like you could lose out on potential better opportunities, you know? And there's always something. There's always a problem. So I posted something on Instagram yesterday about what Ryan Panetta said, and I can't remember it right now, but it was something along the lines of something like, if there's a problem that
When
there's
you
no
run into a
apparent
problem,
solution to, you can create it and monetize it.
Yeah, make money off it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if we're always thinking that way, then problems genuinely don't exist. You know?
Yeah. Or we find out how to monetize our problems.
Yeah.
That's
what it is.
That's major.
Yeah.
So what strategies are you focusing on now?
Right now, currently, just flipping. But, you know, as I said earlier, once we realized during tax time, like, hey, it's better to start keeping properties.
Right.
Like, that's kind of like where I'm understanding now.
Yeah.
Like, last year, I was just like, oh, let's flip. But now I'm like, okay, like the true, I guess, end game is wealth. And to build wealth, you got to own real estate. Right?
Yeah.
Own real estate that cash flows.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I think the true wealth is like peace of mind. Like even as an agent and as flippers, like an agent, you're always looking for that next deal, you know, or like you're always looking for that next flip. But the second you get sick or you get hurt and you can't do stuff anymore, like it stops.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm trying to like build passive income now. So
Right.
after this cash out refi, after I flip, you know, my next couple deals, I'm gonna start buying maybe like Airbnbs on the mainland and just try to build that cash flow.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like ours was pretty similar when we first started in investing. We were just flipping, like not even knowing why. We're just like, we just want to flip, just make money, flip.
Yeah.
And we've realized that flipping houses, it makes you a lot of money, but it's not going to get you the financial freedom that you're truly
It's
after.
not the long term.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. So we were like, all right, well, we just want to flip to buy rentals, to buy and hold,
Yes.
you know? So that's where we're at right now too, is like, okay,
Nice.
we love flipping. It's a genuine passion of ours, but it's like, we have to place that money
Yeah.
and start getting passive income.
Gotta
so.
build the cash flow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That was me last year. I was like, oh, I'm gonna flip. And then now I'm like, okay. Now understand the game.
Yes.
Right?
Wealth is actually made when you retain the
Yes.
property,
Yeah.
not sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that and all the tax benefits.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when we are fix and flippers, we do generate like those 6-figure profits, right?
Yeah.
And if we don't have a good tax strategy, right, then we're
Yeah.
paying massive amounts of capital gains.
And
So-
I feel like you don't learn tax strategy until it's time to pay the big taxes.
Until
Right.
you need it,
Yeah.
right?
It's like, oh, that's when I started realizing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that.
So like what, like I want to ask you guys a question.
Yep.
So during that time, what, like I'm sure you guys were feeling nervous, all that, and it's your first flip, right?
Yep.
What were you thinking? Like what pulled you through? Like, okay, just stay positive, you know? Like what was going through your mind?
That's such a good question. We were in the middle of, during our reno on our first flip, we got under contract on our second flip. So we were full deep into that one. And I've always been the type of person that I'm just going to figure it out no matter what.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, it was engraved with that from both my parents of just like, no matter what, you're going to survive, you're going to figure it out and you'll find a solution. And I feel like family was always huge
Nice.
for us and still is, of like just giving encouragement. I think it helped that we had each other.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing.
Because when I was full deep dark, like, oh my God, we're gonna lose all of our family's money.
Yeah.
We're failing on it before we even try. You know, he saw the light, and then vice versa. When he was dark, I saw the light.
Oh, I love that.
So I think we were able to balance each other out.
Yeah. I mean that translates into like our entire business still to this day.
Nice.
It's like when one of us is down, the other one's picking the other one up. So I think it was a lot of that. Like we both have it in us to figure out a way no matter what.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a quality that has got us to the point that we're at today. But in that moment, there was so much other stuff going on. And then I always go back to the fact that we bought the deal right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
And
Yeah.
so we had run the numbers right. We got a good deal.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And so through all of that time, we still knew we were okay.
Okay.
Because we
Nice.
we're going to lose money.
That's
right.
good. That's
Or
Like,
even if we did, we're like, okay, we're not going to lose hundreds or
Yeah.
like thousands.
Right,
I'll
right,
lose
right.
5 to 10
like,
grand.
okay,
like,
and at a certain point, I think we just realized we're like, okay, we are dealing with circumstances that we are out of our control.
Yeah.
Right. Like like this is going to happen. And if we break even on the deal or we lose a little bit of money, like that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's so true. I think it all, that saying in real estate, you make money on when
The
you
buy.
buy.
Yeah. On the
Yeah.
buy.
That's a prime example of that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why we didn't lose our ass
That's
and
good.
fail before we even got started
Yeah,
was
yeah.
because we bought the deal right. So like if I can stress anything to anyone when you're starting to invest, don't get so emotionally attached to any deal or
Yeah,
number that we're
yeah.
like, well, I can just figure it out. Like it's
Yeah.
okay. The market will do this, that, and the other thing. You don't know.
Yeah.
And stick to your number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick to your buy box. If it doesn't work, there will be another one. You know, I feel like that's critical because if we didn't do that, we could have, it could have taken us out.
Yeah, before we even started. So I think if you ever have to tell yourself that I can make this work or I will make this work,
Don't do it.
yeah, and you're moving numbers around, you know, like playing with potential ARVs and stuff, it gets very, very,
You're like,
very
it doesn't
sketchy.
work at this ARV, but it works at like no,
Yeah.
like don't do that. You know. I also think that we had a rock star agent.
That's good.
I feel like there's agents, we love them. They're critical to our team. Some are really good at representing buyers and some are really good at selling houses.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have to understand what you as a flipper does. And then we have to be able to sell that, you know? And so I feel like she stuck with us and she pivoted when COVID happened because everyone went to like virtual stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, she was busting ass too. She felt the stress from us. So, but she hung in there and she did it and she took a chance on us when we had no idea what the hell we were doing, you know? So I attribute a lot of it to our agent.
Yeah, because we went down, we listed at 975. I think we dropped the price like 4 times over that 4 months, and we ended up selling for 915.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
But we bought the deal at 600.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
and so it still worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're stupid, but it benefited my family.
Okay.
Because when we on the sale, we probably would have made money, but we didn't annualize their interest. We just gave them a flat
So we're just
10%.
giving flat fees.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
flat
we did it on our
10%.
first few deals,
Yeah.
actually.
So I was like, what am I missing? Why am I not making any money? I don't get it.
It's the annual.
And they're like,
Oh,
they're like, yeah, you know, all the shit that they don't really teach you,
Yeah.
you know, like you just figure it out on your own.
Yep.
That deal, though, I mean, I know we're hijacking a little bit, but
You're good. You're good.
I know.
the craziest thing was, I mean, so we're telling you we've learned so many lessons
Yeah.
from that first deal. One of the craziest things was we had signed our loan docs and we come home and that night.
This is how naive we were.
This is
okay?
how crazy, naive we were. I'm looking at our loan docs and I realize that we have to make a $5,000
interest-only payment to your hard money lender.
Oh my God.
I never knew we had to do that. When you're talking about other people's money and down payment, I was like, they're gonna handle everything.
Yes.
I get to pay them after I sell the house.
Hard money too.
Dude, sitting on the couch, and I tell her, babe, we need to pay $5,000 monthly, and she didn't have any clue either.
No, we had no idea,
dude. And so we're like, we screwed ourselves from the beginning, but dude, we pulled out every like last cent we had.
So we get
maxed
that
out credit cards,
paying everything that you own, leveraging credit just to get it done, and leveraging other people's time and help. I never want to be in that position again. And I can tell you that we've made so many changes and learning lessons from that one. And we're so much better for it.
So there are interest only payments on your hard money loans unless you wrap them into the loan.
Which
is always preferred.
I mean,
right?
try.
Totally.
I if you find like a really good hard money lender that'll do that with a good interest rate, let me know.
But I really love how you guys like pulled each other up. Like one person's down, the other person's like, yo, I got you. Like someone has to, it's always like a give and take, you know? And love will keep us alive.
There you go.
I love that.
That's
I love
true.
that.
Oh man, just having that support system I think is critical. But I think, if we didn't have each other, I don't know. It'd have been some dark shit. I would have tapped out for sure.
I guarantee I would have tapped out too. Well, I would have never got started. So
yeah, I pulled him into it.
big time.
Love it.
We're wrapping up, but if you could go back to the beginning, so like a year ago, or maybe the beginning of just your real estate journey, what's one thing you would have done differently?
Ooh, from the very beginning. Well, let's take it back to the beginning of real estate. I was 19. I would have probably went all in on social media sooner, especially YouTube. Like, I feel like, I honestly think, this is a bold statement, but I think YouTube is going to replace college one day, you know?
Wow, yeah.
Crazy.
Maybe not with like a traditional job like a doctor, CP, all of that, but like learning like important stuff like financial literacy and all of that. Like there's all these online courses and like you could learn so much. And I mean, for me, I got an economics degree and I've never used it. You know, I still haven't picked up my diploma.
Him too.
Political science and economics were my majors.
So if I could go back sooner, go on YouTube, you know, just vlog, like document the process, like imagine how like the footage I have now compared to like 19-year-old me in a suit, you know, in my first open house, like it would be hilarious.
I know.
You know?
So awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would do that, go be more comfortable with being myself and just staying true to like, hey, I don't need to put on a certain image, you know, just be me.
Right.
You know, and then I guess in the beginning of my real estate investing career, I wish I could have, I guess, network with more people sooner.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was so insecure. I was like, oh my God, look at all these big time investors. Like they're putting work. But like little did I know, like, yo, everyone's cool. You guys are cool.
Yeah.
Like
we're just normal people.
right.
Yeah.
We're just trying to, you know, do deals in Aloha.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So if I could go back, or anyone else is watching this, if you're interested in real estate investing or you're new, you have no idea what to do, go to a Deals in Aloha meetup. And if you're not in Hawaii, you know, go to any meetup and just network with other people. I don't know how mainland is, and you know that's why I love Hawaii, because
that's why Hawaii's so dope.
Yeah. But for the most part, networking will always be good. You
Yeah.
know? It'll help you learn, meet the who's the who, and like just learn from stuff. And if you find a deal and you don't know what to do with it, bring it to someone who does know, and they can teach you everything.
Right.
And you know, maybe you'll get 10%, maybe we'll get 50%, maybe you get nothing, but what you will get is the experience and the knowledge.
Yep.
And once you get the knowledge, you'll be able to do it on your own.
Dude,
Totally.
that's so powerful.
That's priceless. The knowledge and the experience is what really matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I have to give you props because
That's what I was going to say.
you were gonna say that too? Yeah, that happens sometimes too.
I've always said this.
I mean, we see a lot of people coming up, right? And one, your social media is awesome because that's where we found you. We found you on social media.
Thanks.
Yeah. And we love the fact that you're an action taker.
Thank you.
You literally just take action. So, yeah, we're super stoked that you're in our life, and let's do some fucking deals.
Let's
man.
do it, dude. Deals
What
in
I was
Aloha.
gonna say was that we only connected recently. I mean, obviously we're in the same circles
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
both do real estate and all that, but like we've only gone out to lunch recently and all this stuff. But I've always told him from the gate, like we don't have much in common, obviously, right? But I respect the fuck out of your authenticity
thank you.
and your hustle and just like being loud and proud of
Yes.
who you are
Yeah.
and what you're doing. I've always told him that. I was like, yeah, but look, he does not care.
Yeah.
He
Don't
is who
care.
he is unapologetically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
and,
that.
And that's what that people respect that. You'll attract your tribe
Yeah,
from
people
that.
are drawn to that authenticity.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is what has always, you've always gained my respect from that. I'm like,
Thank you,
yes.
guys.
You know what I mean? Because people need to be more like that.
Be
you
real.
know?
Be you.
Yeah.
Have raw energy. You know.
And not everyone's going to be your cup of tea.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and you're,
Oh, yeah.
that doesn't mean they're not in your tribe. They're not for you. And
Exactly.
and that's fine,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, you represent that. And I hope that more people can do that too.
Thanks. Same with you guys. You guys, like, I see them like, wow, power couple, flipping, you know, you guys have beautiful family and just
thanks.
building this culture, you know, because a lot of people, I talked to some new people yesterday who are new in the space.
Yeah.
They're like super shy, intimidated,
Yeah.
same how I felt.
Yep.
And they're like, wow, like, I didn't know how it's like this. And I'm like, yeah, like
Yeah.
this couple wants to build this community, you know,
Yeah.
not exclude anyone.
Right.
And if like you want to take action, like here's all the knowledge, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, it's fine.
It's
But we're
fine.
here if you need anything. You know?
Totally.
So
I love that.
I love you guys for that.
And I think that's why we vibe is
Yeah.
just
Right.
because we share
We
that,
share that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We really want to impact people and make their lives better.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what it's all about.
Dude,
you know?
that's it.
And that like something happened with my dad at the meetup.
Oh.
Where he found one of his friends that was in his wedding party. He found him dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
And he had been that way for a little bit of time. And I just, I was talking to my brother, I was talking to Kamahai and my mom, and I was like, can you imagine not leaving an impact on anyone's life where you could die alone?
Yeah, and like be there for a given period of time and no one even knows that you're gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, your achievements don't matter. Like, I mean, like they matter, but like I'm talking like money and
Yeah.
status.
In the grand scheme of things.
And all
Right.
of that,
Yeah.
it's about leaving a genuine impact
Yeah.
on other people's lives,
Yes,
and
yeah.
relationships are all you have at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
it's like, that's the legacy I want to leave.
Yes. Yeah.
Like how many people's lives did you affect? How many people did you touch where they're like, yes, that was the person that helped me, or
Yeah.
that was a person that inspired me. And
Yeah. Like you said this and it changed my life. Like,
Yeah.
That's
There's
like,
nothing like that.
right. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
But the whole caveat to this is that when you are that much of a giver and you affect that much change, it all comes back to
oh
you.
yeah, full circle. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the more you give, the more you get.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
a
literally
lot of people ask us that question, but aren't you scared people are going to take your deals, or like,
No.
aren't you scared?
aren't you creating competition?
It's like,
aren't
Aren't
you
you creating competition?
That's
It's
the
like,
one we get all the time. And
but
it's
it's
like,
like-
to me, I'm like, no, I'm creating partners.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm
Like,
creating
or a
business.
referral source.
Yeah.
or
you know?
referrals,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily have to be a deal, but it could be a money lender, or it could be a contractor, or a
Yeah.
plumber, or electrician. Like, there's no, you don't know what that next conversation could potentially bring you,
Yeah.
right? So,
And like
Yeah.
you guys say, like, mindset of abundance. Like, it's not like there's 5 deals left forever in the history
Right.
forever. Like, there's always going to be deals. Like,
Totally.
Right.
Even on
if
this
you
island.
wanted to do all of them, you can't. You
can't.
physically
You don't have the
can't.
money to do it. you know?
right. I always tell people that there's more opportunities out there than there are investors.
Yes.
Yeah.
and it's totally true. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many new people coming in, everybody's doing deals. Like, that's the vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
So,
totally. Well, this has been super fun.
I know. It's so much. Thank you guys.
I
Yeah, of
know
course, man.
that majority of people know where to find you, but for those that don't, where can people find you?
What's up, YouTube? You can find my YouTube, Jeremy Mateo Hawaii Real Estate, or my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at the Jeremy Mateo. So
Nice.
give me a follow, smash the like button, subscribe to these guys, subscribe to me,
Yep.
and show up to the next Deals in Aloha event.
There you go. I'm gonna ask you one more question, but before that, what's in your plans? Like what is next for Jeremy Mateo?
Oh, that's a
Next.
good question.
I guess for the rest of 2022, sell that flip that's sitting.
You'll
first
do
of
it.
all.
You'll do
Right?
it.
We're
You'll do it.
manifesting that here and now.
I see a buyer.
Yes. And I have 2 big flips going on right now. Just plow through those. Do the cash out refi for my Hawaii Kai. And once I do that, I want to really start buying Airbnbs for the cash flow. And like we said earlier, owning real estate, start building my portfolio. So that's that. And I guess in the next 5 years, maybe start building my portfolio, getting into bigger deals.
Yeah.
Doing more partnerships, maybe multifamily,
There you go.
maybe commercial.
Yep.
We'll see where life takes me. So I have that, and I just really want to retire my parents. Like
There you go.
build enough cash flow so they can just chill.
Yeah, I
and,
love that.
Yep.
I remember after my first big flip, like I took my girlfriend to Cancun. So awesome. But I was like, man, I want to take my friends and my family here. How
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just not worry about the price or anything.
That's a
Right.
goal of ours too,
Yeah.
is to, because I feel like both of our families gave us that,
Yeah.
like really fun vacations and all this stuff. And it's like, I want to be the one doing that.
Yeah,
I want to be
exactly.
like, no, I'm renting a yacht on the Mediterranean.
Yes.
You guys are all coming.
not just vacations, like crazy things that
You
would never fathom,
Right,
or they
yeah.
would never be able to do,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And just doing it like this, not
Yeah.
worrying about anything,
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I only want to hang out with my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
same.
it's like, just like, let's go have fun together.
Mm-hmm,
Like for me, that's what life is all about, is creating memories with the people that you love.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
all we have is time,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
we can get all the money, but like, hey, like if we don't, like, anyone could go anytime.
Right.
So I'm just trying to be aggressive, build my cash flow, retire parents, have fun, enjoy life, and spend more time with them.
Yeah.
Totally.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing. Oh, we have
Oh, we have a
question.
live
live
question.
questions for Jeremy Mateo.
Let's go.
Talia Love.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
My
I don't know who
sister-in-law.
that is.
Yes.
At Talia Love is asking, what is the best type of content that you get engagement from for leads and anything?
Oh, that's a really good
Oh, I like it.
question.
The best content for leads.
And what did she say?
Real estate.
Oh,
any kind of real
engagement.
estate.
Engagement.
Yeah.
Literally just asking questions. You have to do the ask. Like
Yeah.
how I got my leads, I literally said, hey, if anyone knows anyone with a rundown house, send them my way, but also do it in your own way. Like don't try to copy anyone, because you gotta stand out. You gotta be original. And it's okay if you like try to model yours after other people, but in time, eventually if you do it enough, you'll find your style. You find your brand.
Yeah.
So build your brand, post content, ask, there's nothing wrong with asking for engagement. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like we were asking for questions.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
So
No,
pretty
that's
much,
so true. I love that. Because everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to use social media for all the same things, but how are you going to do it? Just a slightly
Yeah.
unique way. That's you.
Yes.
Yeah, that stands out from the
Exactly.
crowd.
Yeah.
Right. I love that.
Cool.
Are there any other questions from the audience?
That's it for now.
That's it. Okay. Last thing. What do you want to leave with the audience? What impact do you want to leave with the audience? Last words.
No pressure.
For anyone that's watching this, just understand, like if you're in a rough spot or you're just starting, and because I get questions like, hey, like I'm struggling, I'm trying to do this, like how do I get like you? And I'm like, first of all, don't try to get like me, don't try to get like them.
Right.
Be the best you.
Yeah.
I know that's corny, but like it's just finding out who you are and understanding who you're, finding yourself. Because I remember when I started as a realtor, struggling, I'm supposed to be successful, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to make 100K my first year. There's none of that supposed to. Like your path is your path, and don't compare yourself to anyone else unless it motivates you.
Right.
And just know that what you're doing is just, that's your life. You have to find what you're trying to do, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Totally.
Like, of course, you want to do real estate, but you need to, I guess, find your, stride,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess,
Yep.
And for me, I was like, oh, like, I suck at this and all of that, but you just have to find it within yourself to keep going, you know. That's why I got the tattoo.
Relentless.
Yeah.
See him.
See it.
Yeah.
Relentless is a book by Tim Grover, if you guys don't know. And Tim Grover was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's physical trainer.
Nice.
So he trained both of them, and he wrote a book about being relentless. He also wrote a book called Winning. And I just read that. I was like, wow, like this, like I wish I read this when I was grinding in those early years.
Yeah.
Because this would have like pushed everything. But little did I know, it's like what I was doing in those years was what's in the book. So just keep pushing, find yourself, find who you are, find your brand, and, you know, just try to network with people, you know, always be a go-giver, try to add value wherever you can. Yes, you want to ask and try to learn, take value, but do what you can to provide value first. Because like what you guys said, if you give, it'll come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Tenfold, you know.
Totally.
And you did that with us, and it's going to change the trajectory of our entire life.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about it.
I know
right
it's on
now
the DL.
podcast
I know that, but I'm just saying that's an
Surprise.
example of
Yeah.
providing value. You know what I mean?
And the coolest thing is we didn't even know each other
No, we
very
didn't even
well
know each
back
other.
then.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I
I
mean?
remember that,
So it's so cool. And I resonate with that, and I love that advice that you left with the audience, because you're a true testament to perseverance. You struggled a lot getting started.
Yeah.
And I was saying earlier in the podcast, but people always, well, a lot of people give up, right?
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is a lot of times they give up right before
the big break.
Yeah. And you just never know when that's going to happen. And the only way to ensure that you'll always get there is don't give up.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
keep going.
Persevere.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Totally. All right.
Love it.
On that note, peace out.
Thank you
Thanks
guys
for coming.
watching.
Woo, peace.
Aloha.